Hello everybody, this is Cody from Bonnie Acres Farm, here to talk to you about our no-till garden method that we use and how to do it on the cheap. So stick around and let's learn something. So today, here's our garden. This is a year of use. This is our second season using it here. And basically what we do is the back to Eden method, which is essentially layering the very bottom with something like cardboard or contractor paper, and then building up from that with wood chips and just using wood chips and some other organic matter that you feed back into it at the beginning of each season. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. All right, so here I am out in the middle of the woods during probably one of the worst years for ticks that we've had because there was not much snow this winter. So I'm doing this for you, but this is just like to demonstrate kind of what the theory is with the Eden method. So obviously Eden, we're talking about the Garden of Eden, which was this perfect place. Everything was working out perfectly before the fall, right? Well, if you look here I am in the woods. I'll turn the camera. You see all of the leaves that fall from the trees, they all fall. And obviously they don't just sit here every year and just keep building up until they're 30 feet deep. They keep breaking down. You have the worms and the bugs that are breaking it down. And you've got twigs. You've got all sorts of things falling off the trees and the plants. And it's creating this soil. And that is where all the nutrients are that keep feeding this forest. And it's got mycorrhiza and mushroom, fungi growing through and feeding it all. So what we're doing in our Eden garden is we're trying to recreate somewhat of this, but we're accelerating it because we have all of this large wood is chipped, and it's of varying sizes. You've got the dust, you've got your smaller chips, medium chips, larger chips, and because of the varying sizes, it's able to take place quicker. So that's what we're trying to recreate. You can use leaves too. We when we get our wood chips from the arborist, there's often green leaves in there because they're often working on trees that are still budding, and that's perfectly fine for us. We get grass clippings in there too. So as long as the grass isn't treated, that's fine with us. So right back here, this darker row is last year's wood chips that were basically our walkway. We started out with some manure that we bought locally. We also tried some soil from a local nursery, some topsoil, just to see kind of the difference we got. Definitely recommend being picky on your topsoil if you have to go with a nursery, but just try calling local cattle and dairy farms, goat farms, whatever you can. Try to get manure worked into there because that was way more effective, way less weedy. There were still some weeds, but we actually got like purslane and some other interesting things that you can forage out of that. So I recommend finding a manure source, but that's what we used to get our first year of gardening started here in our new property. And so basically this dark row is where we're going to be planting this year. These lighter rows here, this is new wood chips that we just got this season. And what we did with last year's wood chips, which was our walkway, this is our walkway now, we took those wood chips and raked them into the dark rows, and that's where we're going to be basically planting this year. All right, so starting your layers first, you have to get your ground layer. What is your lowest layer? So right here I've got this cardboard. I'm just going to pause here to interject and say that you need to use a base layer for your weed barrier. And while I recommend using a specific material like cardboard, you can get away with doing really thick, like 10-inch layers of wood chips. You can do cardboard, which I recommend. We've done it two different ways. We've done cardboard and we've done contractor paper. If you're gonna go contractor paper, you're gonna spend more money. I'm just gonna warn you ahead of time. And be very wary when you go to the hardware because they are aware that new gardeners are going this route, and so they'll put contractor paper on display and upcharge you. So go to where the contractor paper is down the aisle. Usually it's in like the paint section, at least at the hardware we go to. And it was like, when I checked the other day, about $5 cheaper a roll if you go down the aisle. Otherwise you're going to get caught at those displays. But we don't go contractor paper anymore. We go with this cardboard. Okay. We go with this cardboard that's huge. So we find that cardboard, and the pallet here actually, we find that at a local outdoor patio furniture place nearby that they don't charge us anything for the cardboard or the pallets. So 2 ways to save already. Don't go with contractor paper. Try to find the local furniture shop, preferably outdoor, where they're taking everything out of the cardboard and putting it in a recycling dumpster out back. Make sure you talk to whoever owns the place. You know, be courteous. Most of the time, they're going to say yes, and if they say yes, they're probably not going to charge you for it. So you can start with the cardboard, and then the pallets. So over here you can see it's kind of foggy. Let me turn this around. Over here you can see we have some semi-raised garden beds. A lot of this is 1x4, 1x6 wood, but I did start building some of these beds with this the pallet wood from that shop. So that really saved a lot of money. It's a little more effort, but if you're willing to take that effort, you can build some these in-ground semi-raised garden beds. So already 2 ways to save. No money spent in that regard except for some of the hardware. And then the other thing that we use for our Back to Eden method, we use local wood chips that we get from arborists in the area. So you call around, you know, Google tree care, arborist, or whatever near me, and you're going to find people in the area. Call them up and say, hey, if you have jobs nearby, this is where I live. If you're willing, please drop them off here. Most of the time, they're willing. Sometimes they won't charge you anything, especially if it means saving them a trip. Sometimes they'll charge you a little bit. Last year, we paid about $100 for 5 loads. I mean, it's a lot of wood chips. And this year, I've got another 10 loads lined up already. And it's moving by quick. They haven't charged us yet. I'm sure that, you know, they're going to ask for something once they've delivered it all, but they're very easy to work with, so I recommend working with someone local. And so one other point about the Back to Eden method, your second year in, and really throughout, even your first year, if you have to use some soil like we did, you want to make sure that you're using wood chips to protect your soil. It protects it from erosion. It also holds moisture in, so you have to water less, and it makes it a lot more hands-off. So it's a little more work up front, like when compared to tilling, but once you've got it established, every year it's just add more wood chips and reconstitute with maybe some green and maybe some of your compost and other manures here and there, and it's pretty hands-off. It's very much less weeds, and if there are weeds, they're easy to pull. So totally recommend this method. This is the way we're going from here on out. Well, that's it for this video. Just wanted to give you a little tutorial on how to get your no-till Eden style garden started and do it for as cheap as you can. I gotta get to work and actually finish ours before it's time to start planting in it, but thanks for watching. Hope that you subscribe for more, and hope that you learned something. And if you've got anything to add to the comments below, please feel free to do. We're still learning. We're a first-generation farm and basically relying on the same resources as you to learn all this. So any information that you can share is much appreciated. But until next time, God bless.